What if every human being on Earth once spoke the same language? What if there was a single moment, a single event that shattered that unity forever, scattering people across every continent, every valley, every coastline on the planet? What if that moment was deliberately engineered, not by nature, not by time, but by something far greater than any empire that ever rose or fell? The story of the Tower of Babel is one of the oldest and most debated narratives in all of human history. It appears in sacred scripture, it echoes through ancient myth, and it raises questions that modern linguists, archaeologists, and theologians are still wrestling with today. This is where it begins. To understand the Tower of Babel, you first have to understand the world it was built in. According to the biblical account in Genesis 11, the story unfolds shortly after the Great Flood. The waters have receded, the earth is beginning again, and all of humanity, every surviving person, shares one tongue. Genesis 11:1 states it plainly. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech. The people journey east and settle in a land called Shinar. Scholars widely identify this region as ancient Sumer, the cradle of what we now call civilization, in modern-day southern Iraq, between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. In this fertile crescent, they make a decision. They will build a city, and rising from its center, a tower. Not just any tower, but a tower whose top will reach the heavens. To a modern reader, this might sound symbolic, but to archaeologists, it sounds remarkably concrete. Throughout ancient Mesopotamia, massive stepped temple structures called ziggurats dominated the skyline. These were religious and civic centers designed to bridge the gap between Earth and the divine realm above. The most famous of them, Etemenanke in the ancient city of Babylon, has long been associated with the biblical Tower of Babel. Its name translates to House of the Foundation of Heaven and Earth. Ancient sources suggest it may have stood over 90 meters tall, a structure that would have appeared to touch the sky. Yet the biblical account does not end with construction. It says that God looked down, saw what was being built, and made a decision that would permanently alter human history. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. The project halted. The people dispersed. Humanity, once unified, began the long journey into the hundreds and eventually thousands of languages spoken today. What makes this story especially compelling is that it is not unique to the Bible. Across cultures separated by vast distances and centuries of time, we encounter similar narratives. Stories of a time when all humans spoke one language, of an ambitious structure, of divine intervention that shattered unity and scattered people across the world. In ancient Sumer, the text known as Enmerkar and the Lord of Arata speaks of a golden age when humanity praised the gods in a single tongue before that harmony was disrupted. Ancient Egyptian traditions reference a primordial language associated with creation that later fragmented. Among the Maya and Aztec civilizations of Mesoamerica, there are accounts of a great tower built after a flood, reaching toward the heavens, followed by the confusion of languages and the scattering of peoples. The Toltec legend specifically mentions a flood, a tower, and the division of speech. Are these parallels coincidence, independent myth-making, or fragments of a shared cultural memory echoing across civilizations? Comparative mythology identifies this phenomenon as recurring narrative patterns across disconnected cultures. Flood myths appear on nearly every inhabited continent. Stories of a primordial garden emerge in multiple traditions. And the motif of a great structure reaching toward heaven, followed by fragmentation of language, appears with striking frequency. Modern linguistics adds another dimension. Historical linguists have traced modern languages back to common ancestral roots such as Proto-Indo-European, Proto-Semitic, and Proto-Sino-Tibetan. The deeper researchers explore linguistic history, the more convergence they discover. Some theologians see in the Tower of Babel a symbolic anchor point for this divergence. Others view it as an allegorical explanation for linguistic diversity and human division. Behind the narrative of Babel stands a figure who often receives less attention: Nimrod. Genesis 10 describes him as a great-grandson of Noah and a mighty hunter before the Lord. He is credited as the founder of the first great post-flood kingdom, which began in Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. Later, Jewish texts, including the Book of Jasher, portray Nimrod as the initiator of the tower's construction, a ruler who sought to challenge divine authority and establish a unified human empire strong enough to resist any future act of God. His name has been interpreted by some as meaning, "let us rebel," though this interpretation is debated. The historian Josephus describes Nimrod as a tyrant who encouraged people to attribute their prosperity to their own strength rather than to God, building the tower as a monument to human independence. In later traditions, Nimrod becomes a symbol of centralized power and defiance. Some scholars draw speculative parallels between Nimrod and figures such as Gilgamesh, the Babylonian god Marduk, or other ancient Near Eastern rulers. While these connections remain debated, they reflect a consistent memory of a powerful early king associated with empire building and ambition. Interpretations of the Tower of Babel vary widely. The traditional theological view sees it as a cautionary tale about pride and overreach. Humanity attempted to make a name for itself and reach beyond its limits. The confusion of languages was not merely punishment, but a safeguard, preventing the consolidation of total power under a single authority. From an archaeological perspective, the story may function as an etiology, an explanation for observable realities, the diversity of languages, the ruins of great Mesopotamian structures, and the rise and fall of empires. In this reading, the tower symbolizes human ambition that exceeds its grasp. Some scholars propose geopolitical interpretations, suggesting that the confusion of tongues could metaphorically reflect forced migrations, administrative changes, or the suppression of a dominant cultural language. Ancient empires often relocated populations and imposed linguistic shifts as tools of control. The Sumerians themselves developed writing as an administrative system to manage expanding cities and trade networks. Beyond historical and literary analysis lies a deeper philosophical question. In ancient Mesopotamian thought, the boundary between the human and the divine was sacred. To build toward heaven was to transgress that boundary. The Hebrew narrative reframes this within a monotheistic worldview, presenting a God who is not threatened by humanity, but intervenes to prevent destructive overreach. Today, we live in an era of unprecedented global connectivity. English functions as a near-global lingua franca. Digital networks connect billions. Technology translates languages in real time. Political and economic systems grow increasingly interconnected. In some ways, humanity appears closer to unity than at any point in recorded history. Whether read as literal history, allegory, cultural memory, or theological reflection, the Tower of Babel continues to resonate. It speaks of unity and fragmentation, ambition and limitation, power and boundary. Nimrod built his empire in the aftermath of a flood, striving upward to secure a name that would endure. Humanity continues to build, reaching higher, connecting faster, integrating more deeply. The question is not only whether the Tower of Babel once stood on the plains of Mesopotamia, The question is whether, in another form, it is still being built.